Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to, well, understanding the world one topic at a time. And today, we're diving headfirst into something I think a lot of us have grappled with, learning a new language. You know, when you think about it, what comes to mind? Vocabulary lists, grammar rules, maybe dreaming of chatting with locals somewhere sunny. We always chase those big aha moments, don't we? But underneath all that, there's this kind of unsung hero, something quiet, maybe even seems a bit boring. We're talking about repetition. Yeah, just, coming back to the same stuff again and again. So our mission today isn't just to say repetition is important. You probably know that. It's to uncover why. Why it's the secret ingredient, really, that turns knowing about a language into actually, using it fluently. Think of this as your fast pass to understanding something fundamental, something often missed. Okay, let's unpack this. We've all been there, right? You learn a new word, feel great about it, and then, like a day later, poof,
Yeah.
gone, just vanished. So frustrating. Almost makes you want to, I don't know, throw your flashcards out the window. It feels like your brain's fighting you. But there's a real reason for that, isn't there? What's actually going on?
That's a perfect description. And yeah, every single learner feels that frustration. But what's fascinating is that our brains are actually designed to forget. It sounds weird, but it's true. They're constantly filtering, trying to decide what's important noise versus what's, just noise. Cognitive science has looked at this for ages. The classic Ebbinghaus forgetting curve from way back.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Right. It basically shows that without reviewing, we can lose, get this, up to 70% of new information in just 24 hours.
70%. Wow. That's kind of depressing, actually.
It can feel that way. But understanding that mechanism is key because there is a solution.
And that's repetition.
Exactly. That's the core of it. Repetition isn't just busy work. It's the biological answer. Every time you revisit something, a word, a grammar point, whatever, you're not just reading it again. You're physically strengthening the neural connections for that specific piece of information.
So like building a muscle.
Kind of, yeah. Or maybe like walking a path in the woods. The first time, it's faint. But keep walking it and it becomes a clear trail. Repetition turns fragile short-term memories into solid long-term knowledge. It's a real physical change happening in your brain.
Okay, so it's not just like old wives' tales, it's actual brain science. Have there been studies specifically on language learners showing this? Because that 70% figure is, yeah, it's sobering.
Absolutely. It's well documented. There was a key study in 2014 from the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. They found that repeated exposure, especially when the words were in meaningful contexts.
Ah, so not just lists.
Right, context matters. It significantly improved both how well adult learners remembered words and how easily they could recall them later, compared to just seeing a word once. The difference was huge.
So what does this really mean for someone listening, for your journey? It means that every time you repeat, you're not spinning your wheels. You're literally building something in your brain. You're strengthening the foundation.
Precisely. It's an investment in your long-term memory bank.
Okay, so we get why repetition is crucial. It fights that forgetting curve. But here's the kicker. Like, just repeating things over and over, like randomly, isn't the best way.
Exactly. That's where strategy comes in. Not all repetition is created equal. Cognitive psychologists figured out that when you repeat makes a massive difference. And that leads us to spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition. Okay, I've heard that term. What is it exactly?
It's a much smarter way to learn than just cramming. The core idea is to review information just before your brain is about to forget it. Imagine your memory for a word fading over time. Spaced repetition aims to catch it right at that sweet spot, reinforce it, and then push the next review further away.
So it adapts to how well you know something.
Yes, it's incredibly efficient because you're focusing your effort right when it's most needed. You're not wasting time on things you already know well, and you're catching things before they slip away completely.
That sounds, well, really smart, almost like a learning superpower. So it's not just how much, but when? How do people actually do that? Is it complicated?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. Lots of modern tools, apps like Anki or Quizlet, they have spaced repetition algorithms built right in. They handle the scheduling for you.
Okay, so tech can help.
Definitely. But you absolutely don't need an app. You can do it manually. So you write a story in your target language. You could plan to reread it maybe 2 days later, then a week later, then a month later.
Right.
Or with flashcards, you could have different piles. Cards you get right move to a pile you review less often. Cards you struggle with stay in the frequent pile.
Simple but effective.
It's just about being intentional about those review intervals. Even a rough system is better than none. The goal is maximizing the impact of each repetition.
I love this analogy I heard. Your memory is like a path in a forest. First time you learn something, you push through the bushes, make a faint trail if you don't go back.
Overgrown. Disappears.
Exactly. But walk it again, just as it starts to fade, then again a bit later. Soon it's a clear, permanent path, easy to follow.
That's a perfect analogy. Space repetition clears and maintains those neural pathways.
So it really forces you to think, am I just repeating or am I repeating smart?
Yes, that intentionality is key. Understanding even roughly how your own memory works lets you be so much more strategic and ultimately more successful. You learn smarter, not just harder.
Okay, so repetition is clearly vital for memory, for building those pathways. But does it do more? Like, does it actually help you feel more comfortable using the language? Does it build confidence?
Oh, absolutely. You've hit on something really crucial there. Memory is the foundation, sure, but the deeper benefit of repetition. It's absolutely about building confidence and pushing toward real fluency. Think about it logically. The more often you hear a word or a phrase, or even just a certain sound pattern,
It stops sounding so foreign.
exactly, it becomes familiar, less intimidating. That familiarity chips away at the anxiety and the mental effort, which are huge roadblocks for learners.
And I guess that makes it easier to actually speak it too, right? Not just understand it.
Precisely. That familiarity translates directly into speaking. The more times you've actually said a phrase, even just practicing by yourself, the less you hesitate when you need it in a real conversation. That awkward pause while you're searching for the word or stumbling over the pronunciation.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Repetition minimizes that. It helps the language shift from being this conscious, clunky process of building sentences piece by piece.
Into something more automatic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Automatic, fluent. You stop thinking so hard about the mechanics and you just communicate. The words just flow more naturally.
It's like how kids learn, isn't it? They just repeat things constantly. Songs, rhymes.
That's a perfect example. Children are masters of repetition. They repeat songs, rhymes, silly phrases endlessly. Not just to memorize, but because it feels good. It makes the language feel natural to them. That repetition is what transforms language from something they know into something they can just do instinctively.
So it moves from conscious knowledge to unconscious skill.
That's the magic. That's the shift from knowing about the language to truly doing the language, using it without thinking. And repetition is the engine driving that transformation.
Okay, this is all making sense. But I can hear people thinking, repetition sounds kind of boring, like really robotic, just
Yeah.
chanting words over and over.
Yeah, that's a common fear. And honestly, if repetition only looks like rote drilling, it can be boring,
Right. It can feel like a chore.
but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
The key is that repetition works best when it's varied.
Varied. How so?
Well, every time you encounter or use a word or phrase in a new context or through a different activity, you're not just hammering the same nail. You're
Yeah.
building a richer network around it.
Yeah.
It makes the memory more flexible, more useful in different situations. So it's not about doing the exact same thing over and over, but returning to the same material in different ways.
Okay, that sounds much more appealing. So how do we actually do that? Make it creative, not robotic. Got any
Oh.
strategies?
Definitely. Let's kick around a few ideas. First, try listening again with a twist. Got a song you like in your target language? Don't just listen once. First time, just feel the music. Second time, focus hard on the lyrics. Third time, try singing along, even just mumbling. Maybe a fourth time, listen for specific grammar points you're learning. Same song, different focus each time.
I like that, using different parts of your brain. What else?
How about watching in layers? Watching a show or a movie clip. First, maybe subtitles on in the target language. Helps comprehension.
Okay.
Then watch again, subtitles off. Try to rely on your ear. Then maybe pick a few key lines, pause and repeat them out loud. Mimic the actor's intonation.
Engages listening and speaking. Smart.
And don't forget micro reviews. This is huge. You don't need hour-long sessions, 5 minutes while your coffee brews. Quickly scan yesterday's tricky words.
Little and often.
Way better than one massive session once a week. Consistency beats intensity here.
Okay, that feels manageable. And what about like using it in real life?
Yes, this is where it gets really powerful. Consciously recycling conversations. Learn a new word yesterday. Make it a mini mission to use it in a chat today.
Even if it feels a bit forced.
Yeah, even if it feels a little clunky at first. Say you learned the word for, I don't know, ambitious. Try to weave it in. That's a very ambitious project. It forces active recall in a real context.
It makes it stick differently, doesn't it? Takes it from a list into
Yeah.
reality.
Exactly. It anchors it in your usable vocabulary, not just your passive recognition. Fun, challenging, and super effective.
Hmm.
And, all this, we're talking about the memory, the confidence, the creative techniques. It's not just psychological tricks. This is where the science gets really amazing. Repetition physically changes your brain.
You mean, like, literally, not just a metaphor?
Literally. Neurolinguistic studies using brain imaging and things like that have shown this clearly. Repeated exposure to a second language leads to actual, measurable changes in brain structure.
Wow. Where in the brain?
Specifically, areas like the hippocampus, vital for forming new memories, and parts of the neocortex, which is where long-term memories get stored and integrated.
So you're building new connections, new hardware, almost.
You are physically restructuring parts of your brain to accommodate the new language. It's quite profound when you think about it.
It really is. So how does that physical rewiring actually feel? How does it show up in fluency?
It shows up as speed and ease. It's the difference between mentally rummaging around for a word and having it just pop into your head, ready to use. There was a great study back in 2016, published in Cognitive Psychology. They look at learners using spaced repetition,
Okay.
and they found, yes, they remembered words better. We'd expect that by now.
Right.
But crucially, they also retrieved those words faster during real-time tasks, like simulated conversations.
Faster retrieval. That's huge for fluency, isn't it? Less pausing, less hesitation.
Exactly. That speed, that automaticity, that's what fluency feels like. It's a direct result of those neural pathways becoming stronger and more efficient through repetition.
Yeah.
Your brain just doesn't have to work as hard to access the language.
It's like upgrading the wiring.
Precisely. So connecting this to the big picture, repetition isn't just practice, it's brain renovation. It literally rewires you to make that second language feel more natural, more intuitive. You're building the neurological foundation for fluency step by step, repetition by repetition.
You're moving from just knowing it to truly owning it.
That's a great way to put it. Hashtag tag tag natted outro.
So we've covered a lot of ground on this deep dive into, well, the quiet power of repetition. Language learning, yeah, it's this amazing journey of discovery, isn't it? New sounds, new cultures. But what we've hopefully uncovered today is that the real secret to mastery, to that effortless feeling, isn't just the first time you meet a word. It's the patient, strategic act of coming back to it again and again. Remember, every repetition isn't starting over. It's not a sign you're stuck. Think of it as another layer, another thread weaving that language deeper into who you are.
It's how scattered bits of knowledge actually become instinct, how the effort starts to feel
Oh,
effortless. So next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm just repeating this again, just pause for a second. Remember, you are not stuck. You are moving forward, maybe slowly, maybe invisibly, but powerfully. You're literally reshaping your brain for fluency. Embrace that quiet power.
absolutely. So maybe think about how you could bring some of this into your own learning. Could you try that varied listening idea? Or maybe just a quick 5-minute micro review tomorrow morning? Or could you challenge yourself to recycle one new word in a conversation today? We really hope this sparks a new approach for you, maybe makes the journey a bit more effective and even more enjoyable.
That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and yeah, keep repeating.